The turn of Honorable Kofi Benteh Afu.
Thank you.
You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
You are speaking for 10 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity to comment on the budget statement of the President as presented by the Minister for Finance to this House. And to go into it, Mr. Speaker, not too long ago, Ghanaians all over the country were in despair as to what was happening, to the extent that some have even lost confidence in the nation of not wanting to go to the polls to vote. Then came a savior in the person of President John Dramani Mahama. And in his first budget, which was presented to us this year, we saw most of the things he did to reset the economy. However, our friends on the other side have tried to argue that before the president took power, they had grown the economy by 5.7%. Mr. Speaker, if growth of an economy, and for that matter, its development, is only to be realized in the GDP growth rate, then I think what will it profit an economy if it grew by 5.7% and had to borrow so much to the extent that it became bankrupt and had to go begging arms in arm for its creditors to forgive its debts, to the extent of even creating different shades of haircuts, including Sakura. Mr. Speaker, if this is what we do to grow an economy, then I beg to differ because, Mr. Speaker, what will it profit an economy if it touts itself to have grown by 5.7%, and yet unemployment rates for 14.7%, a remnant of which we saw at EWAC recently, which a responsible president in the person of John Dramani Mahama has taken responsibility to take care of all the injured and even the diseased. Mr. Speaker, what will it profit an economy if it says it had grew by 5.7%, and yet inflation rate was hovering around 50% at a point in time to an end-of-year rate of 23%, making cost of living so high for its citizens? Mr. Speaker, what will it profit a country if it says it had grown by 5.7%, and yet exchange rates were hovering around 28 and 30%? If this is how a party, a political party for that matter, will manage an economy, then I have no distrust to believe that the result of what we saw in 2024 election has come to this far. Mr. Speaker, before I became a parliamentarian, I heard that this house had two sides, your left-hand side and your right-hand side. But ever since I came here, I have seen a median. However, what I have seen are corners, 4 of them, one of which is occupied by the MPP, which was in previous government. So today, our friends in one corner are trying to tell us that they have forgotten the basic economics of the distinction between economic growth and economic development. Today, we are presenting a budget which is not only seeking to grow the economy, but to develop it. Even though we have stated to grow the economy by 4.8%, Mr. Speaker, in this 4.8%, 800,000 jobs are going to be created to solve some of the problems they left behind. In this 4.8 growth rate we are estimating, Mr. Speaker, exchange rate is currently hovering around 10.9%. Inflation is below 8%, and we are targeting an end of year of 5%. Mr. Speaker, if this is how they want us to grow the economy like they did, then let them know that we are not going to manage the economy, because if this is what you did, then I'm not surprised that you went into the examination in December 2024, and your best score was 87 out of 276. You see, we have been reduced to one corner. In this one corner, a minority you are enjoying. We would not want to be like you. We would not want to be like you. And so we are trying cautiously. The Minister for Finance, not only is he a finance expert, he is also an accountant and has taught us how to prudently manage an economy. That is why he's not running his mouth. He doesn't want to run away. He doesn't want to be a fugitive of justice. He wants to be able to come back home and attend funerals of relatives. And that is why he has given us this budget. I know I know, Mr. Speaker, their only fear is that by the time the programs in this budget have been executed, they will become extinct. And that is why they are doing everything to comment and say this budget cannot transform us. However, the matter speaks for itself. All what the minister has done can clearly tell us that not only is he looking at raking in more revenue, he has also put in measures to stop the leakages, most of which he inherited during their time. You know, to the extent that he is deploying an AI mechanism to make sure all the loopholes occurring at our ports are plugged and blocked so that we rake in more revenue. In fact, if you want to do well as in an economic management, it is not only the case that you focus on raking revenue. If you also are able to block the leakages, make your spendings optimum, and try to be disciplined in your spending. Obviously, if you cannot even rake in more, you will block the leakages and still be better off as an economic manager. This is what we want you to learn. This is what we are doing. And by the time we are done, Mr. Speaker, I know these Egyptians we are seeing today, I know by the time we will not see them anymore. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
It's now the turn of Honorable Nana Ajay Bafwa. You are speaking for 15 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, I'm grateful for the opportunity to take part in this debate. Mr. Speaker, I pray for your indulgence to join my brother Nana Kwame Asafo-Adjei to pay tribute to the 6 gallant women, young women, patriotic young women who sought to serve their nation, but unfortunately met their untimely death. At this point, Mr. Speaker, whilst you've extended your indulgence to me, Mr. Speaker, I wish to mention their names for them to know that we acknowledge what they have gone through. Mr. Speaker, my condolences go to Prudence Ayisi. My condolences go to the family of Prudence Ayisi. My condolences go to Alice Owusu, the family of Alice Owusu. My condolences go to Abigail, the family of Abigail Boateng, the family of Sarah Mensah, the family of Esther Appiah, and Mercy Owusu. Mr. Speaker, these women were not seeking to only serve the country, but to also join the many Ghanaian women who have succeeded in breaking traditional boundaries and stereotype. Unfortunately, they met their untimely death. Mr. Speaker, it was unfortunate. To the many that sustained different forms and degrees of injuries across the country, consistent with Exodus chapter 15, verse 26, I assure you that the Lord is your healer. Mr. Speaker, these young ladies met their untimely death just so they could get meaningful, well-paying jobs. Unfortunately, they died. Mr. Speaker, it's unfortunate, and that as a house, we need to commit to ensure that there would be abundant job for the Ghanaian, particularly our teeming youth who are graduating from our various institutions of learning. Mr. Speaker, this is why we are concerned about the 2026 budget. Mr. Speaker, unfortunately for us as a nation, yes, we do concede that there's some good macroeconomic indicators. No matter the disconnect between the indicators and the reality, there is that concession. That said, Mr. Speaker, there's one thing that has eluded us as a country, and that thing is the sustainability of the indicators. Mr. Speaker, we cannot say that the indicators we are seeing today is unique. Yes, there may be some improvement. That said, Mr. Speaker, it has become cyclical that once we subscribe to an IMF program, we begin to experience good indicators. Mr. Speaker, the question we have failed to ask ourselves, indeed, even if we have asked ourselves, the question we have failed to answer is why has the sustainability of the indicators eluded us? Mr. Speaker, it's not far-fetched. The answer is not far-fetched. The answer is in our expenditure choices. Mr. Speaker, when you are running a revenue shortfall, definitely you need to be careful with your expenditure. But when you choose to spend 13 billion cedis in the procurement of aircraft, Mr. Speaker, that certainly is not a prudent expenditure choice. When you choose to spend 13 billion cedis over a period of 4 years to procure aircraft, that is not a prudent expenditure. You know why it's not? I'll tell you why. Mr. Speaker, firstly, we need to convert the 13 billion cedis into dollars. And so the $1 billion that you've been pumping into the economy, you pump it with your left hand and take it with your right hand and export it to a foreign country just to procure jets. Mr. Speaker, whilst you make that choice, what you forget is that you are not just giving the foreign country revenue, you are also giving them, Mr. Speaker, jobs. Whilst your people in your country are not getting jobs, your taxpayers, the people from whom you obtained the 13 billion, they are struggling to get jobs. And this is the decision or the choice you choose to make at this point of austerity, Mr. Speaker, is certainly not a prudent choice. Mr. Speaker, I am not a prophet. I am not a prophet. But, Mr. Speaker, there's one thing I can prophesy on the floor of Parliament today, that in no time, the NDC government, led by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, will be running back to the IMF because of the choices it is making. It is a very imprudent economic choice. Mr. Speaker, why would you spend 13 billion cedis to procure aircraft when you have 78,000 nurses unemployed in your country? Why would you? Why would you spend 13 billion cedis to procure aircraft when more than 6,000 teachers are struggling to get employment? Why would you spend 13 billion cedis to procure aircraft when about 60% of the 300,000 Ghanaian graduates on a yearly basis don't get employment? Yet you have chosen. Unfortunately, we have learnt our lessons and we are advising you. You know, when you are struggling to get your people employment, these are the choices you've chosen to make. Mr. Speaker, when we say you are not creating employment, your reaction is that you are creating 800,000 jobs. We have reminded you that the 800,000 jobs, they are mainly fleeting by day jobs. Wala tu wala sa. That is all they are. Which of these jobs will your 60% of the 300,000 graduates do? None. None. Which of these jobs will your 78,000 nurses do? None. Which of these jobs will your over 6,000 teachers who you are struggling to recruit do? None. Mr. Speaker, obviously, little wonder that the World Bank, in its annual update in the month of June 2025, stated as follows. Mr. Speaker, stated that this is stated that a state where economic growth has critically failed to translate into meaningful job creation. Mr. Speaker, our economic growth continues to fail to translate into meaningful job creation because of such choices. When you choose to spend $13 billion cedis to procure aircraft, Mr. Speaker, and I've heard some of our colleagues say that it doesn't include presidential jet. The record of this House will bear us out that any time presidential jets have been recruited in this country, they come in the form of military route ruling. And so therefore, Mr. Speaker, we know that what is being procured is a presidential jet. Mr. Speaker, our president prefers comfort to the employment of the Ghanaian youth. Our president prefers comfort to the employment of the Ghanaian youth. That is what is happening, Mr. Speaker. The many youth who had hope that the NDC through its reset agenda was going to create meaningful jobs for them, some of whom have stayed home for 10 years, some of whom have remained unemployed for 5 years. Mr. Speaker, you have disappointed them. You have disappointed them. And it doesn't look like the 2 years ahead of the year 2026, you are going to create the needed jobs. They have been disappointed, and it's unfortunate that this is happening, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Malaysia did not develop by making such expenditure choices. Malaysia didn't. It didn't become an Asian tiger by procuring aircraft when its teeming youth don't have a job. Singapore did not develop when its teeming youth were struggling to procure aircraft. Mr. Speaker, when the NDC said it was going to reset, the expectation was that they were going to do something different. However, what they pursue is the status quo, creating unemployment. You have no interest in creating jobs for our people, and it's unfortunate. Mr. Speaker, at this point, in our quest to assist the government to consolidate its finances to create jobs, having advised you on the need to abandon your procurement of the jets, Mr. Speaker, I will draw your attention to the need to consolidate the institutions of state in the fight against corruption. Mr. Speaker, I take you to the budget of the Office of the Special Prosecutor. Mr. Speaker, we are told that this year we are giving the Office of the Special Prosecutor a budget of 158 million cedis. Mr. Speaker, it's about time we take a critical look at our expenditure. Mr. Speaker, we have too many institutions fighting corruption. Mr. Speaker, the question we have to ask ourselves is whether or not the Office of the Special Prosecutor remains a necessity. Mr. Speaker, the question we need to ask ourselves is whether or not what the Office of the Special Prosecutor is doing, the Financial and Intelligence Center cannot do. The Economic and Organized Crime Office cannot do. Mr. Speaker, in this light, Mr. Speaker, we are told that the Office of the Special Prosecutor, I have never defended it. The Office of the Special Prosecutor, as part of its achievements this year, helped the Controller and Accountant General to recover some money through a corruption risk assessment. Mr. Speaker, the Controller and Accountant General already has an integrated solution for fighting fraud. Mr. Speaker, it is either we are not being told the truth or the integrated solution for fighting fraud at the Office of the Controller and Accountant General is not working. Mr. Speaker, it is obvious that corruption risk assessment in and of itself can never help in uncovering fraud. Mr. Speaker, when there is a computer software for doing so, Mr. Speaker, we need to consolidate the institutions that fight corruption in this country, Mr. Speaker, by making sure that we avoid duplicity and enhance investment in those institutions, just to make sure, Mr. Speaker, that corruption is fought well without losing good money, Mr. Speaker, as we have seen over the period. And so, Mr. Speaker, as I conclude, Mr. Speaker, I would want to invite the Attorney General to review the office of the special prosecutor. Mr. Speaker, we have tried it in excess of 7 years. The results is there for us to see. It is good money chasing bad money. Very respectfully, Mr. Speaker, these are my submissions. Thank you very much.
Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe,
and click on the bell for more updates.